You're being scammed in the Philippines. Today I'm going to talk about 5 scams that you are falling for in the Philippines. Let's get started. Scam number 1 you'll fall for in the Philippines. This is kind of one that you'll fall for before you even come to the Philippines. You'll find a girl online, you'll start talking to her. Maybe you'll find her on Pina Love or Pina Heart, 2 of the date sites I recommend here. She seems like a nice girl. You talk to her for a few days and all of a sudden she says her phone's not working. She borrowed her mother's phone or her sister's phone or her brother's phone, and her phone's not working anymore, and she needs you to send her $100 for a phone, 5,000 pesos for a phone. This is 100% of the time a scam. I guarantee it. It happened to me. Before I came to the Philippines, I met a girl. I was talking to her online. She told me that her phone was broke. She couldn't video with me. She needed a phone. I was naive at the time. I sent her, I think, $100 for a phone. After that, she needed a computer. She needed this, that. I eventually just stopped talking to her because she always needed something. I've talked about her on prior videos, but if you're talking to a girl on the phone and she's asking you for maybe some, a lot of people don't have any money here, so maybe she'll ask you for to buy her some data, they call it. That's phone time, or, basically prepaid phone usage. If you send her $20, 1,000 pesos for phone time, that's enough for like a month. So just keep those numbers in mind. 1,000 pesos is all you need to send her, and that's okay, I think, to send a girl you're talking to online over the phone, or 99% of the time she'll be talking to you on the phone because she won't have a laptop computer or a tablet or anything like that. So that's scam number 1. Scam number 2, the money changer scam. So obviously when you come to the Philippines, you have to solve the issue of how are you going to get money here. Of course, there's ATMs. It's probably the best way to go without getting scammed. Just get your money out of an ATM. But you're going to pay whatever your bank charges you, probably around $5, and then around $5 for any ATM in a bank in the Philippines. And then you have a 10,000 to 20,000 peso limit, which is $200 to $400. So every time you take money out of your ATM, you're getting taken for $10. And if you come here with a bunch of cash, that's when you have to deal with a money changer. So before we even get into the scam, I'll tell you the best thing to do is to just take money out of an ATM and pay the $10, or get an international card like my Chime card, where I can spend money on the card and there's no international fee, and it pays back a certain amount of ATM fees that you incur when you take money out of the ATM, so you save some money on the ATM fees. But there's money changers all over the place. There's some name brand ones like the Palawan and the Cebuano. But then there's just random money changers, independent people, and I've gone to them. And this is how the scam works. You go to the money changer and you give them your money, say you're changing, $200, $300, $400. First off, to change money here, your bills have to be perfect, okay? They like $100 bills and they have to be perfect. One tear or crinkle and they're not going to take them. But anyway, you change the money and they count it out in front of you. And then when they take the money back, they slip a couple bills out before they wrap it up in a rubber band and hand it back to you. And by the time you realize it, you're gone. And if you go back, they'll just play ignorant or dumb and be like, you must have lost the money. So be careful of that. Don't go to the small, tiny money changers. You want to go to the bigger, more established ones. The money changer may be at the airport, but at the airport, you don't get the best rates. But if you want to just stay safe, just go to an ATM and get your money out that way. Another way to do it is you can use a remittance app. a remittance app. And on these remittance apps, you can send money to yourself. It costs about $5. There's almost no limit. When I do this, I send $500 to myself, and you just go to the Cebuano or the Palawan. Those are remittance offices. They're in every tiny little town in the Philippines. There's literally thousands of them. And you go and you have to show me a passport. It usually takes about a half hour. You got to sit there and wait. There's other people getting remittance, but you get your money in about a half hour, and it's a $5 fee or $3.99, I think, on my remittance app. But then you have the money right out of your bank account to the remittance office into your hand, and they're straight. They're not gonna rip you off of any money. They count it several times in front of you, and you count it in front of them. They make you count it in front of them before you leave. So the best two ways are remittance app and ATM. Be wary of the independent money changer. Scam number 3, and I was a victim of this one too. I call this the gay cousin scam. So if you're seeing a girl here long distance, a lot of times they'll have a boyfriend or a husband. Like, this is what happened to me. I was seeing a girl here. I met her here, but then I went back home for work. It was during COVID, actually, so I couldn't come back and see her. And, you know, when I originally met her and we went on a date, she brought her 2 gay cousins with her. And I think they actually were her gay cousins. But then when we were talking long distance, you know, we had already made plans to be in a long distance relationship. You know, we were in a relationship, and she's with this other guy sometimes who's like, you know, I don't know who he is. He's a good looking guy, doesn't look gay to me, but she's telling me that he's her gay cousin. Okay, and some of the signs when this is happening to you, and sometimes that'll be her boyfriend. In this case, it was a boyfriend or her other boyfriend or a guy she met. I'm not sure. I never got the whole story. But a lot of times when you meet them, they'll have a husband, but some of the girls here are so destitute or so desperate for money that their husband will even send them out looking for a Western boyfriend. And, you know, they'll split the money, or they'll use the money for their family, their kids and stuff, whatever. But they'll just be scamming you for money. This is a really common scam. So she was telling me it was her gay cousin. She hid it for a long time. Eventually she got pregnant, and because of COVID, I hadn't been back to the Philippines in 2 years. So obviously it wasn't her gay cousin. She's now, I still see her on Facebook. She's now married to this guy with the kid. I'm glad it all turned out well for her. I have a girlfriend now, and I'm all good. But at the time, it was pretty devastating. So some signs of this is happening to you is if she doesn't call you for a few days in a row, her excuses where she was are sketchy. You'll be talking to her on the phone, all of a sudden she'll hang up, or the phone will disconnect. Be suspicious of all that stuff when that happens. If you're in a long distance relationship with a Filipina, she's probably scamming you. Okay, scam number 4, and this kind of ties in to that, but it's a little different. So you come to the Philippines, you go to the bars, you know, you go to Angeles City, that's where the big red light bar scene is, or Manila. You know, there's good bars everywhere at Bohol, and you meet a girl in a bar. In general, you want to stay away from bar girls, but you know, you have a good time with her, you meet her a few times, you know, you go out on a few dates with her rather, and you're probably going to sleep with her. That's probably just what's going to happen. The girls here, the traditional girls, are conservative, but all Filipinas like sex. I'm convinced of that. They have access to porn. I know this firsthand from being with Filipinas. They have access to porn. They like porn. They watch porn from when they're little kids. So they want to do porn acts when they meet you. But anyway, the bar girls, that's even the traditional province girls. But the bar girls are, you know, much worse. They probably have had several guys. Maybe not, but probably they're working as bar girls because they you know, their family's desperate. A lot of times their family will send them out to work at the bars, to work the Western guys, get money and stuff. But anyway, you have a good time with her, and this can happen with a bar girl, province girl, city girl, all the three types of girls I spoke about in the past. You know, but you have a good time, but then it's over. You know, you keep in touch with her a little when you get back to the States, and then all of a sudden, a few months later, you get the call, hey, I'm pregnant, and it's yours. Okay, it might be yours, it might not be yours, so have a paternity test. If she got pregnant from any Filipino guy, which could really, you know, most likely is probably what happened, maybe it's your baby, make sure you get a paternity test, because most Filipino guys, or a lot of Filipino guys, are gonna get her pregnant and then, you know, ditch out on her, because that's kind of the culture here. It's sad to say, but if you look at the numbers, it's something like 70% of single moms, or not 70%, but 50% of the women here are single moms, something like that, 35 to 50%, because a lot of the men don't take responsibility for their babies. You know, they're very charming men, they all sing and stuff, they're good at wooing women, and they love to cheat, and they love to, you know, sleep around with a lot of girls. Sorry, my Filipino friends, but this is just the truth. The statistics bear it out. So when she calls you and tells you she's pregnant, make sure you have a paternity test done, a DNA test, whatever you have to have done to make sure it's your baby before you start giving her the inevitable cash that you're going to have to give her if you got her pregnant, or if you're a good guy, you're going to have to give her. And number 5, last but not least, number 5, my family is poor, can you build a house for us scam? That's right, can you build a house for us? Now, building a house doesn't cost that much here, I mean, compared to the US or other Western countries, but it's still going to put you in the hole $60,000, $100,000, which I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money for me. So how this one tends to work is you meet a girl online, back home, you start talking to her, maybe you come visit her here for 2 weeks, you make a plan, and she's like, oh, this is great, you know, we should build a house together, I need a house, my family could live in it, we could have this dream life together, you know, living in this house, maybe on the beach or something. And then, you know, you say, oh, okay, that sounds great. I'll build a house there and then I'll retire there. But the land issue here is you can't own land here as a foreigner. So no matter what she tells you, if you're not married to her, even if you're married to her, you want to be careful, but you cannot own land here as a foreigner. Let me repeat, you cannot own land in the Philippines as a foreigner. So if you build her a house before you're married to her, you know, when you're seeing her online, or you just buy a house or land or anything, it's not yours. They have a 60-40 rule here. You can own 40%, she can own 60%, but she'll always have a majority share of the house. Now, they're improving in this area legally, but I've met expats here. I met a guy who spent his life savings on a house for a girl, and as soon as the house was done, she ditched him. She told him to get the hell out. And there's nothing he could do because he doesn't own it. So that's probably the number one worst scam. It's not the one that happens the most. I think number one, the telephone scam is the one that happens the most. But the worst scam is guys losing their life savings, getting scammed out of their life savings to build a house for a girl here. And I mean, I don't know how you can't do the research or not know that you don't own the land, or you're just so in love with this young Filipino with her nice tight body and, you know, the great sex and all that. I guess some guys, you know, it's just been so long since they've had, you know, a girl like that, because they're 60 in their 60s or whatever, and she's in her 20s, and They haven't seen a girl naked in their 20s since they were in their 20s. You know, they're probably divorced, you know, was in a shitty marriage for 20 years where their Western wife treated them like crap, and, you know, didn't have sex for the last 10 years of those 20 years, and they just get sucked in by the Filipino love muscle, and that's it. Anyway, guys, those are the 5 scams you want to watch out for in the Philippines. There's more. Maybe I'll come back and make a video with more, but those are the 5 main ones I see. As I've confessed to, I've been victim to at least 2 of these scams, and I consider myself not easy to scam, especially when it comes to money. Like the money change one has never happened to me, but I know it's happened to a lot of guys here in the Philippines. But the love and romance ones, the telephone one happened to me. It was $100 or so, but still it happened to me. Not a lot of money, but, you know. And the gay cousin one happened to me. That one is very common. So when you come to the Philippines, be careful. I'm not saying don't come. I don't want to discourage any guys, any of you passport bros or anybody else from coming. This is the greatest country in the world for meeting women, probably. There's tons of single women, single mothers are everywhere if that's what you're into. Young girls, middle-aged girls, you know, how whatever age you like. The Philippines is great. Don't not come. Just be aware. Keep your eyes open and keep your head on a swivel. Because basically, no matter what country you're going to, I've been to many countries, somebody's going to try and scam you. All right, that's all I got today. Like and subscribe if you like my stuff. Go ahead and comment. Let me know how you got scammed. And I'll see you guys on the next video.